Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel 100 Ideas.
Landscaping of a small suburban area. Rules to follow. When choosing plants, it is important to take into account the requirements for illumination. The height of plants planted in a row should increase from south to north. If the soil on the site is poor, then manure and compost will not be able to instantly save the situation. You can solve the problem by buying fertile land of a suburban area. It is important to choose the right color scheme, expanding the boundaries of the site with its help. It is better to give preference to light and pastel tones. There is no need to use a wide variety of colors. It is enough to choose a certain color theme, adhering to it throughout the site. First of all, you can do flower beds, breaking flower beds on the side of the entrance to the site and near the porch of the cottage. At the same time, flower beds should not be symmetrical, and for their design you can use any improvised means: containers, barrels, old tires, etc. You can also create a stream with flowers, which will be located along a small artificial reservoir. An equally important element of a suburban area is a recreation area, for the organization of which 5-6 square meters will be enough. To do this, you can make a wooden pergola by putting a bench there. You can hide the recreation area from prying eyes with the help of climbing plants, grapes, roses, etc., or hedges. The design of the front garden, in addition to beautiful hedges, paths, and flower beds, can be supplemented with various sculptures, artificial reservoirs, fountains, original flower pots, decorative exotic plants, alpine slides, borders, etc. Small shrubs can be embellished with special scissors, giving them the correct geometric shape. Such a composition of, for example, spherical, square, or cone-shaped plants will give the territory originality and sophistication. The main thing is not to overdo it. Overloading the territory with the same type of elements will lead to a loss of attractiveness of the general appearance of the site. Plants in the front garden are selected carefully. It is not necessary to take into account their flowering period, height, and color. Do not forget to take into account that it will take a lot of free time to care for plants, so if you do not have it, choose plants that do not require constant monitoring and caring for them. Having correctly selected flowers, various decorative elements in the front garden, you will turn it into a fabulous picturesque place that will delight not only you but also passerby. It is not necessary to invest a lot of money in this and resort to the help of professionals. It is not so difficult to design a beautiful front garden with your own hands. It is enough to understand all the nuances, connect your imagination, and start acting.
Pots, tubes, and flower beds filled with flowers add attractiveness to any garden. Container decor also adds versatility to gardens. Container garden plants set the color, provide the focus in the garden, and connect the architecture of the house with their garden. Container gardening also has a practical functionality, growing species and medicinal herbs. Tips for choosing container plants for your containers. If you're going to grow a container garden on your site, choose those crops that are guaranteed to grow in your climatic zone. If a garden is illuminated by the sun all day, choose sun-loving plants. For shady areas of the site, choose plants that do not require a lot of sunlight. Succulents are a great option for those who rarely visit a garden plot or forget to water containers regularly. In addition, succulents have a stunning view. If you grow vegetables in your containers, be sure to choose the types that will thrive perfectly in containers. There are many annual flowers that grow great in containers, but do not forget to include perennial plants. These plants can be removed from the container at the end of the growing season and moved to the house for the winter period. By planting different types of planting in pots, you can create an almost unlimited number of combinations of colors. The best compositions are created from container plants that have beautiful foliage and flowers. Large containers are suitable for indoor and tropical plants. You can grow them outdoors throughout the summer season, but be sure to move them into the heat before the temperature drops to minus. Basil, onion, thyme, and other herbs grow perfectly in pots or small containers that can be installed in any place convenient for you. If you need a well-growing container garden, do not skimp and do not buy the cheapest soil mixture. To reduce watering needs and add useful minerals and nutrients to your containers, mix the soil with the finished compost before filling the containers. The proportion for the substrate is in the ratio of 50-50. If you're going to grow succulents instead of compost, add sand, preferably a coarse fraction, or use a mixture for succulents or cacti. When buying, choose a soil mixture that includes enough organic matter. This gives plants a source of nutrients throughout the season without additional appliance of synthetic or chemical fertilizers, which can burn tender roots or lead to leaf burns. Tips for watering garden containers. Watering is the most important job on the garden's to-do list. Don't forget about it. If you tend to ignore this, create an automatic container watering system or plant drought-resistant plantings such as succulents and cacti. Do not wait until the plants begin to wither without watering. During watering, make sure that you water each container several times. Water it in the morning if possible. This helps to contain fungal diseases and other pests, as well as minimize water loss due to evaporation.
Even on a small plot, I want to grow trees not only for harvesting, but also for the soul, rest and joy. It is this, at first glance, impractical role that decorative plantings are carried out. The main mission of such plants is to decorate urban areas intended for recreation, parks, squares, gardens. They are used for landscaping settlements. Decorative plantings will help out even a novice landscape designer. You can visually enlarge small areas and expand the narrow ones. Create zoning, divide the garden, vegetable garden, and infield. With the help of tall plants, you can hide from prying eyes and disguise unsightly outbuildings. Several options for placing ornamental trees are used. A lonely standing tree attracts special attention. A spreading tree is best suited for this purpose. On a small plot, it is enough to plant one such tree and consider it a family tree so that it pleases several generations. You can plant a fir tree and dress it up for the celebration of the New Year. A group of trees. Create a composition by combining representatives of one or different tree species. For the best effect, it is necessary to adhere to the principle of tiering. Low trees should be planted before high ones. If the group is planted in the middle of the plot, the tallest plants are located in the center. If the group is placed near the wall, then tall plants are planted closer to the wall. To create a picturesque group of trees, choose specimens with colorful foliage or beautiful bright flowers. Hedge. This is when the plants are planted in a line along the perimeter of the site. They serve as a good protection from prying eyes, wind and noise. With the help of such a hedge, we can fence the site as well as divide it into different zones. It is necessary to take into account how the plantings will look in winter. Therefore, the best option for a green decor would be planting a coniferous fence. Alleys. These are paths along which trees grow on both sides.
Almost everyone probably knows about the existence of a miniature copy of a real tree, called bonsai. Everyone can plant and grow it with their own hands. It is important that the selected seedling takes root in the surrounding climatic conditions. The growing process itself is very simple, but it requires constant monitoring of the formation of the crown and trunk, a lot of time and diligence. The care of the mini tree should be correct. The main thing is to observe conditions favorable for the proper development of the plant, which is possible with balanced lighting, humidification, temperature regime, watering, and fertilizing the soil. There are quite a lot of original trees from which you can create mini copies, but conifers are more popular. Due to their durability and endurance, they also have small leaves that remain green throughout the year. The main varieties include evergreen species, with flowering in spring, with flowering in summer, with flowering in the autumn period, with a well-defined shape of the trunk and branches, especially when the foliage falls. The Japanese bonsai tree is not recommended to be grown in a room, as it does not like a hot, dry climate. Therefore, after a few days of indoor maintenance, the plant may get sick. When placing a tree on the street, it should be remembered that it needs protection from sunlight, rain, and winds. If you decide to grow bonsai yourself, then when choosing a certain type of plant, you need to take into account the climatic conditions of your region. It is better to give preference to local specimens, juniper, pine, lilac, etc. We hope this video was useful to you. Like it, write your comments and subscribe to our channel.